Whew. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm just getting in. What an eventful last couple of days it's been. We've had the appraisal at the flip house. We found a few other potential next flip houses. There was a boat, there was an RV, but that's not for here. If you want to know more about that and you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out my other YouTube channel, Joe Does Stuff, for more on all of that. Today, here, however, I want to share a video with you guys that is spawned from the comment section. An awesome suggestion that was made by an awesome person who left an awesome comment that goes as follows. Bro, top 10 way prisoners would try to get information about your case. Hero Cat, amazing suggestion for a video. And I most certainly know quite a few different ways that prisoners are going to go about trying to get information about your case to try to hop on it while locked up, given the fact that from the jail that my time began from, that place was a snitch factory. I'll never forget a million things about that situation, but one thing was that when I first got locked up and then a couple of days later I get a piece of mail, maybe I went to my preliminary or my arraignment, that's what it was. I go to my arraignment, that's when they see if they're gonna set a bond hearing, when your preliminary is gonna be scheduled. The most important thing that happens at your arraignment is your lawyer situation. Are you gonna have your own lawyer, or are you gonna get a court-appointed lawyer? Well, being as I was just scum of the earth and had nothing, not a cent to my name, I was gonna be getting a court-appointed lawyer. So from that court date, a couple of days later, I get a piece of paper in the mail. Guerrero, you got me. Hey, yo, I knew that girl was gonna ride with me forever. Legal mail. Enough to make you want to hang it up. But I get this piece of legal mail from the public defender's office, and it tells me who my court-appointed lawyer is, and it says that they'll be in contact with you like 1 hour, 1 minute before you're about to go up for trial. Usually that's about how that works out. But they tell me who my court-appointed lawyer is, and one of the most interesting things that they noted, with that mail was, do not talk about your case to anybody up in this jail, because everybody's snitching. No bullshit. That was actually a piece of legal mail that I received. Don't talk about your case. And boy, would I see quite a bit of why you shouldn't do that throughout the 25 months that I spent up in that jail. And we're gonna talk about that here today. Today I'm gonna share with you guys from the suggestion made by Hero Cat, shout out to you, 10 ways that in the way prisoners who can't do the time for the crime that they committed are going to try to hop all over your case like some sort of an Easter bunny. And I'm telling you, some of these ways are crazy. So it's with all of that being mentioned that what do you say we go ahead and we dive, swan dive, we're freebasing. Wait, that's like smoking cocaine. Dive! Freebasing, that's like when you jump off of a mountain, right? Base diving. Head first, that was what it was, up into this video. Joe, what you know about your jaw being in left field? Yo, I know it's crazy to think, but there was a time when old Joe used to smoke the rocks. Crazy, you'd never even think it looking at me now, right? I know. What you mean I look like a crackhead? I know you're kidding, right? You're not. That was the first piece of advice that I received when I got locked up to serve the 7 years, and it came in the form of that legal mail that said don't talk about your case to anybody. And like I had mentioned, I would certainly see what that could lead to. I'm going to share quite a bit of that with you in this video, and let's go ahead and start with the first way, and one of the most common ways, I believe. I don't know anything about snitching. I've seen it happen a million times, but Joe, didn't you just snitch on the gas company?
I wonder if you can cross a threshold. You've waited too long, so they're just not going to answer the call because they don't want to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry for your wait. How long were you waiting? 4 hours.
Hello, this is George.
Hey, how you doing, George? I appreciate you getting to my call in a timely manner.
I'm a civilian now. Joe Does Stuff. Go check. What I consider to be the most common ways that somebody's going to try to gain information about you and your case to potentially use against you in the court of law for their own gain and sentence reduction is befriending you. Hey, what's going on? Jay Smooth, welcome. Have you been here before? You haven't? Let me give you the tour. You can leave your case right there. Yeah, it's gonna be perfectly fine, perfectly fine. Just leave all your case information right over there. The dude that they thought that they was cool with, the dude that they was chopping it up with, shooting the shit with, spitballing the war stories with. Turns out they got a court date the same day as you do. Wait a minute, I got trial today. I didn't know you had court. Yeah, you know, I'm going for that sentence modification. That's gonna be coming soon. One of the sickest situations that I ever saw in relation to the befriending somebody to gain information about a person. You know, think about this. You're locked up, you're lonely, your family might not be there, your girl might not be there, but there's your cellie. Somebody that you might be super tight with, that you get super tight with, that you think is TTG and trained to go. I don't know why we're doing so much scissoring with this, but scissoring. You can be your most vulnerable when locked up, and most vulnerable to somebody that you think is a friend. And the sickest situation that I ever saw in relation to this was with this piece of shit nicknamed G. I really don't know whatever happened with this dude, and I kind of hope that he's not doing so hot. But this POS befriended another dude who had, you know, some pretty bad charges. Not those type of bad charges, but he had a string of armed robberies involving like Dollar Trees or Dollar Generals or Family Dollars. I have looked up this case so much to try to find out what happened to this dude, and I can't find anything on it. And I think a big part of that is because Dollar Trees and Dollar Generals and Family Dollars, they get robbed all the time. And plus, this was back in like 2009, so there's that as well. But anyways, the only reason that I knew what his case was, and anybody else would know aside from the cellmate that he was spilling the beans to, OG, was the fact that it was sort of high profile. He was on the news for this prior to getting locked up and being in the housing unit with us. He became BFFs with this dude named G. I was leaving, and you know, the crazy thing was is everybody knew this guy G was hopping all over his case, getting information, you know, going out there, seeing his lawyer once or twice a week. You know, these are red flags right there. If a dude's leaving the housing unit a couple of times a week and he's not going to rec or Bible study or GED, which is probably what he was lying saying that he was doing, those should definitely be major red flags. But everybody knew what this dude was doing except for the dude. And you know, I knew. I mean, I had the assumption. I didn't know for sure, but you know, I assumed that everybody was snitching. That's one thing that kept me kind of okay while I was there. But I couldn't tell this dude, like, hey, I think your cellmate's probably gonna testify against you. That would only lead to problems for me. And I was a lone wolf up in that joint. But like I said, the sickest that I saw in relation to all of this, I was leaving to go to prison. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. They had woken me up. Guerrero, pack your shit. Now you're not going home. You're not going home. You can put your underwear back on. I don't know why that would be a thing. When my cellmate at the time's nickname was Delicious. But I was sitting down in the bullpen. They had already dressed me out back into my clothes. And I'm down there with the few people who are leaving to go to prison with me. And they start bringing down the people for court. And they bring down old G and put G in a single man isolation cell. And shortly thereafter, they bring down his BFF dude with the string of armed robberies. And they put him in the bullpen right beside mine. And you don't even know how sick this dude looked. Now, I got to imagine that by this point, I don't even know if I was still in the same housing unit with both of these dudes. And I don't even know if they were still in the same housing unit, because I think if I can remember correctly, I think I heard that the cellmate finally figured it out that, you know, the dude was snitching on him, and that somehow they had gotten separated prior to dude trying to, you know, do anything about it. But anyways, dude came and was tapping on the glass, asking me, hey, yo, have you seen G? And I was like, yeah, unfortunately, he's right there in that isolation cell. And dude just shook his head and looked down and looked so sick. And I felt so bad for this dude. I mean, he had some, you know, armed robbery charges. He was a young dude. Just got wrapped up in some bullshit, threw his whole life away, because an armed robbery charge carries like 20, let alone a string of them joints. That's probably life, with a dude testifying against you. That was the last memory that I have from that jail. And you want to talk about like motivation to change your life to do better? Yeah, like I never want to go back to that. To be surrounded by that type of bullshit? Next thing that a dude can do to try to gain information and hop on your case and snitch all over you is get your entire government. Hey, yo, don't be going around talking about my government, Joseph Paul Guerrero. Yo, hey, you don't talk about that. Dog, that shit is on your wristband. That shit is on every piece of mail that you get. That shit is on your whites. Guerrero. It's literally wrote right there on your shirt with your state number right under it. We're like in the Green Mile and shit. When they call your name for mail, they say Guerrero. Guerrero. No, you don't have a visit. Talking about your government. Everybody knows your government. I make such a big deal of that because so many dudes will be like, hey, yo, yeah, what's my name? What's my name? They call me Lil Dookie Stain. Dookie Stain be the last name. Last name, first name. Dookie Stain Lil. It may not be very ironic. Maybe to some it is. How easy it is to gain a dude's entire name. Some dudes will even give away their social security number while locked. Just had a camera issue. Hopefully we're okay right there. Damn thing cut off and said that the lens wasn't attached. Yeah, some dudes will even give away their entire social security number in there, maybe for some sort of a tax return hustle, or maybe a stimmy, or maybe trying to get some utilities cut on. Hey, yo, I got a social security for sale. I just need $50 in commissary and your girl can get her lights cut back on. That shit's a hustle while locked up, especially if you ain't never coming home. Yo, your social security number is golden. What do you need it for? But having a person's entire name can lead to somebody calling home and getting their girl or their mom or their cousin or their kids to look your crazy ass up on BeenVerified.com. First, find out what you're locked up for. Find out if you're one of them bad type of offenders. Find out what your criminal history is like. Find out if you're wailing about your case. Find out if your case is any more serious than what you're saying. Yeah, dude trying to tell me he locked up for stealing candy from a baby. Yeah, surprisingly, that's actually not too frowned upon in here. Calling home and getting your girl to play cold case or the first 48 can definitely get the ball rolling to a dude hopping all over your case. That's like the domino effect right there. They call home, they find out what you're locked up for because you didn't want to tell them. I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable talking to you about my case. You don't need to know what I'm locked up for. Just know that I'm just like you. Well, maybe not just like you, but we're locked up here together. We should be in cahoots. With more of the scissoring, I don't know why. What do you mean you want to punch me in my face? It starts with a phone call. They find out what you're locked up for. And then it leads to them befriending you and then ending up going to court on the same day as you. Your Honor, he's right there. Joe, you're pretty good at that. You sure you never? Another crazy way people can gain information about your case, yo, they can trade for your information. Like it's a Tom Brady rookie card that just sold for $3-point-something million. Can you imagine being a person knowing that a cardboard cutout of yourself just sold for $3-point-something million? You've got to be feeling like a walking bar of gold. But that's old Tom Brady now, isn't it? Just a walking bar of gold. Yo, they'll trade your shit like it's a Topps baseball card. You might think they playing Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering. But they're not. They're playing with your case information. Yeah, well, I've got his motion of discovery right here. I'll raise you for motive on that guy right there. Why did he do it? And I know you're probably thinking, Joe, you talk about dudes trading case information. You ain't heard shit yet. So let's go ahead and move on. I feel like this next one almost happened to me. And that is try to steal your case information. You know, you get a motion of discovery sometimes, oftentimes. If you've got a serious nature offense in case, you can get a motion of discovery. That's going to be all of the evidence that they have against you. That's going to be a proverbial walking bar of gold for any would-be snitches in the housing unit. And how do you keep that safe? Do you keep it locked away in your cell? Do you keep it in your prison suitcase? Ouch, that's going to hurt. How do you keep that safe? One, when I got my motion of discovery that comes in this manila envelope and, you know, whatever case information it was, I believe it was a bunch of statements and, you know, statements that I made against myself. I served myself up on a silver platter. I think that's really important to mention, and I'm going to share with you guys why. You know, I get this, and I'll never forget, they called my name, Guerrero, yo, that girl wrote me. Gosh almighty, we're going to be together forever. Legal mail. God, you hate me. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. I get this big manila envelope. It's all of the information on my case. I'm walking back to my cell. It's all eyes on me. I feel like I'm in the Green Mile. I don't know how that. But Joe, I sit down. I put my case right there on the desk, and another dude comes in shortly thereafter. What was this dude's name? Gosh, I want to say it was like Mo. I think that's what it was, Mo. I remember he was locked up for abduction. He had robbed and kidnapped a dude, duct taped him, threw him in the trunk of the car, over $20 of crack rock, and got caught with an AK-47 in the car as well with the dude duct taped in the trunk. He was done. This stupid motherfucker comes in my cell and puts his manila envelope right on top of mine. I'll raise you my case information for yours. It's basically what he said, and I was like, yo, I don't get jiggy like that. I don't get down with that. That ain't me. Like, this dude literally came in and tried to trade me his case for mine. And in his exact words, when I asked him, yo, what is that? He was like, yo, that's my case, dog. I want you to hit me. Well, you know, I don't have any protection other than some saran wrap. I ain't with all that. I ain't with all that fugazi, cockamamie, testifying and snitching on each other. Get up out of my cell, is what I didn't say. I actually said, excuse me, kind sir, I do not want to cooperate with the authorities, hence the fact of why I'm here with no bond. So could you please do me and yourself a favor and exit my cell as hastily as possible? But like I said, try to catch you when you ain't looking to go steal your case information. I saw it happen to the Somali pirates. They tried to steal the case information from them dudes, and them dudes wanted to kill everybody in the housing unit. And then I think to myself, well, you know, there were times when I went to the shower and I was a lone wolf in there, so how do I know that they didn't go in there and try to get my case? They probably did. And they probably saw those transcripts of interviews and interrogations where I said, I did everything, it was all my fault. Joe Guerrero, TTG, thug life for life, straight up OG convict. Who else can say that? Can you? Other prison, you too? I kept it a couple of stacks. And they probably saw that when they went up in there and was like, oh man, he's a real one. I ain't seen one of these. Boy, this joint like a Tom Brady rookie card right here. Oh, and by the way, that wasn't really like a shot to any other prison. I don't watch any prison YouTubers, so I don't even know who they are anymore. Lockdown, he's like the only dude that I know. And maybe a couple of the dudes that I interviewed, like the new guys. Other than that, I'm watching space documentaries and ASMR and how to flip houses, that stuff. So they can trade for your information, they can call home, they can befriend you, they can try to steal your shit. Another thing that can happen is they can plant a mole up in your cell. I swear I feel like this happened to me. They put this fat, fraudulent, I think had federal charge white dude up in my cell trying to ask me if I could get him a firearm. I am locked up and you have a federal case. Bitch, I'm not about to be on Dateline for your dumb ass. Can you get me one of these, Joe? If you're talking about a super soaker or a Nerf gun, we could probably do something. I heard Amazon's got Cyber Monday coming up, so just stay tuned. Another way that prisoners can go about trying to hop all over your case is just simply asking you. I know that that sounds crazy. Hey, yo, would you be willing to allow me, hear me out now, you know, they say what's the worst that someone can say is no, but, you know, I'm willing to accept that. Would you be willing to allow me to testify and snitch on you? Like I said, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. Hear me out. How crazy is it really? Why are you putting your fist up? You're not gonna do anything. I mean, that's basically what dude did when he came and put the manila envelope down on my desk. He asked if he could tell on me. But better yet, he sweetened the pot. He was like, hey, yo, would you be willing to tell on me so that I could tell on you? Fair enough exchange. Tit for tat, one for one. Yours for mine. I'll do you first. Wait. Another way that prisoners can go about trying to hop on your case, testify against you, and gain information about you, they can just simply make the shit up. Jailhouse snitches. It's a term that's been deemed in the news over the last couple of years, maybe the last decade. I know that it's been here locally in my area, maybe it's been in yours as well. We had Ryan Frederick, who had the capital murder charge, and I did an interview with him. Facing the death penalty was the video. He only ended up getting 10 years. He had a super paid lawyer, and he had a hell of a defense, and it was true. You know what happened. It was a total accident. But Joe, he had so many jailhouse snitches trying to jump all over his case, and they were just making this shit up. Dudes who didn't even have access to Ryan Frederick because he was held in protective custody, and not because of the other prisoners so much as it was from the staff. Dudes went into the courtroom and just said anything. Now, I'm pretty sure that the judge, didn't go for it, but there's always the chance that they could. Another thing that prisoners can do in an effort to try to snitch all over you is ear hustle. Pretty sure that that's a podcast from the West Coast, from maybe like San Quentin or something like that. But ear hustle in prison means to eavesdrop, to be nosy, to bend an ear, lend an ear to a conversation that you ain't privy to, that you're not even a part of. Now, ear hustling is such a pandemic up inside of the prison that you got to be mindful of this shit happening when you're in the shower shooting the shit with your homeboy. Yeah, you know, hey boy, when I was out there, I was like, bunga, bunga, bunga. Yeah, you know, boy, I had the bazooka out there, bitch. They ain't never find it, but you know, it can happen when you're on the telephone. Talking to your girl in the heat of the moment, you could slip up and say the wrong thing. I shot him because of you! God almighty, why can't you just understand that I shot him because of you? Your Honor, I just overheard him say that he shot him because of the woman. And I'm believing that the victim is Jody. Yo, dudes will listen when you're in the bullpen. And that is one of the most ill times to be found out about, or for a person to gain information about your case. Found out about sounds like you got the bad charges. But just imagine, you're in the bullpen, you're going to your court date, your court-appointed lawyer showing up wearing the Jinko jeans with the pants cuffed this wide. Have you seen the meme that says if your court-appointed lawyer shows up looking like this, you're going to prison? That's true. They actually dress for the occasion. But yo, they will talk to you right there through the bars in front of all of the other prisoners. I will never forget, I had a court-appointed lawyer show up to come see me. This dude talking about, Guerrero, hola Guerrero, is there a Guerrero in here? I'm like, bitch, I'm right here though. I go up to the bars, having to shoulder my way through the crowd. Hey, yo, excuse me, that's my lawyer. I guess that's my lawyer right there. And dude was like, okay, so you're in here for a murder charge? I'm like, oh God, you don't even know who I am. You don't care. You don't care. He said, well, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I've never done that before. Oh, you got an armed robbery charge. Yeah, you're facing 20 years. Crazy little situation right there. It could be conversations on the late night, you and your cellie spitting war stories. Dude got his ear right there with the cup, listening to everything that you and your cellie are talking about. Ear hustling. That shit can definitely get you late. Get your case hopped all over like a sack race on field day. We're getting closer to the end of this video, and there's only 3 more things that I want to include. I'm going to breeze through these really quick. Another way that dudes can gain information about what's going on with you is they can act like they're trying to help you with your case. Maybe you're green, maybe it's your first time, and this is how a lot of dudes get stretched out and super late. Dude come up to him, hey look, you know, your lawyer ain't doing nothing for you. You got a court-appointed lawyer. His pants cuffs are this wide. I know, I've got the same thing. So I started studying case law myself, and now I'm not. Passages Malibu, I tried to tie in that there, it didn't work. Yo, I'm a jailhouse lawyer, so not only can I help you with your case, I can help you with your case for the low price of just one white girl. That's an icy white honey bun. That's not racist. Can you imagine this? You actually are paying a dude commissary food items for him to snitch on you. And what is he doing? He's getting all your case. He's got your motion of discovery laid out like Jody got your girl at the crib. And they're not playing Connect 4. Well, they are. The Naked Twister version is what I meant to say. Naked Twister. Acting like they're going to try to help you with your case. That's what happened with the Somalian pirates. They couldn't even really speak English. And dudes not only were trying to jump on their case, they were stealing their case information. Another way, and this is probably one of the most crazy ways, all of this at the very end is the most crazy, but reading lips. And I know you're probably like, yo, I'm about to click off of this video right now. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Yo, this is the most wild shit that I ever saw. Mind you, this jail was a snitch factory. So much, in fact, you had these huge plexiglass windows that looked out of the housing unit, and sometimes you could see into other housing units. Well, dudes would literally sit there and communicate with each other from one housing unit to another, whether it was through some sort of freaking Crip or Blood sign language mixed in with some lip reading as well. You want to talk about taking snitching to a 14? I knew a guy from the free world who I would end up locked up with. I'm sure that he's home now. Matter of fact, after I get done filming this video, I'm going to go look him up. This dude sort of did the very last thing that I want to include in this video in terms of how a guy can go about trying to hop all over your case. This dude basically joined a gang just to get in with the cool kids at this jail so that he could be privy to the cases that were being hopped on and try to get a slice in the action. Not only did he join the gang to try to get the information, he joined the gang to learn the sign language, and he probably also did it for protection as well. But yeah, when you were locked up, take heed if you're ever locked up, and God forbid that you're ever locked up. But for anybody who's watching this video or these videos that I create, because they're going to prison, you got to imagine that there are people who are watching these videos who are in that position right now. You're out on bond, maybe you're cooperating or thinking about cooperating, whatever the case is. If you're going to prison, the best piece of advice that I could give you is, or if you're going to jail, and you're facing a case and you got a case open, don't talk to nobody about that shit. Don't think that cellmate is your best friend forever. The dude, hey, look, all the good ones is locked up. Yo, they're not. They're out here in the free world. Don't talk about the case. And try to keep that shit to yourself. And you know what? Like in a situation when you got that motion of discovery, when you get that, hey, commit that shit to memory. Photographic memory, that type of shit, and flush it, burn it, destroy it, get rid of it, send it home, do something. But don't get caught lacking with that shit up underneath of your bunk. Because there is some treacherous people in prison who going to act like they go the hardest, who built like that for real, who going to do the time and not let the time do them, who just going to wait for you to go up in the shower and they're going to try to snatch that shit from you. Ain't even worried about your commissary. They're worried about trying to get that release date like tomorrow. And that's jail and prison in a nutshell. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!